As you know, my name is Bob Morgan. Hopefully you can hear me. If you can't, please let me know. Sometimes my Zoom doesn't work the way it should. I've opened up chat so you could put a message in. It goes just directly to me, not to anyone else. But again, thanks for joining our webinar. As I said, my name is Bob Morgan. I run a company called Disruptive Leadership. I've done webinars with NADA. This one is more of a personal webinar, specifically for people who want to learn how to reach their goals. Over the next 45, 50 minutes, we're going to discuss a subject that's really been written about and talked about for centuries. Marcus Aurelius, if I can use his name, even started with this. And then we've all heard of Napoleon Hill and Earl Nightingale and the books that they've written and Eric Thomas and Tony Robbins. And, it's really a multi-billion-dollar industry. I'm going to Think and Grow Rich, the power of positive thinking. And everywhere we go, when we go to these seminars or webinars, and perhaps this too, and then they make it sound so easy to accomplish what we want. And all you have to do is think about it. It's all about attitude. And so many pundits have told us that's how easy it is. And if that was the case, why don't we or our staff, our employees, all reach our goals? And we'll go over some stats later in the webinar here about that. And you'll see later why. But we're going to have quite a few pencil and paper moments. So hopefully you have a notebook, a piece of paper, so you can write some things down and take some notes. And at the end of this, we'll have a Q&A session. You can ask questions, ask them along the way with the chat feature. And again, I'm the only one who will be able to see them and I'll read them out at the end, or we can answer them through email. And I'll also offer you a 15 or 20-minute phone call with me to discuss, because sometimes it's easier when there's two of you discussing something to find out what it is that you need to do. And we call this eat an apple. And why? What it really is about making it easy to win and the law of least effort. I've told the story many times about a Zen master who is teaching one of his pupils how to become like him, and he tells him that he needs to empty his cup of all of his opinions or he won't learn anything. There's really nothing new that is out there, but some of this you may not have heard. And some of it isn't going to be earth-shattering. You've heard it many times. But what we'll do is break it down into something very simple. And as I said, there's pencil and paper moments, so you'll need to take notes and break this down. And it will be in a position where if you're in management, you'll be able to teach this to your employees as well. And I am more than happy, if you are, to do this webinar for your employees. Well, we call it Eat an Apple because it's that simple, making it easy to win. My philosophy is this: if you're not reaching your goals, the problem isn't the goals, it's your system. And over the next 45 minutes or so, we're going to come up with a system that if you apply it to every goal or every result that you want, because it's not really goals, it's results we're after, you'll reach heights that you just didn't think you could, personally, professionally, in business, whatever it is. Because it's really not the goal that is important, the result, it's the system or the process to get you there. So let's jump right in. Again, this is why we call it Eat an Apple. And as we go through, you'll start to understand why. Again, chat is on, ask your questions at the end. I'll answer as many as I can. If I can't, I'll email you or we can talk on the phone, either one. First off though, this perhaps is what brought you into this. Did you set New Year's resolutions? I know I do every year. We set goals for 2021. And after what happened yesterday, perhaps it's like a drink to here's to 2022. I don't know. But we're 6-7 days into the new year. And if you've already given up, I'm here to tell you, you're not alone. It's interesting that we set a goal, or whatever you want to call it. Let's take, for instance, that you want to not stay out late on a work night. And a friend comes along and says, and you did this on New Year's Day, and you set this goal up, and a friend comes along today and says, hey, we're celebrating my birthday tonight. And before you know it, it's midnight, 1 o'clock, and you're going home, and you're like, man, I already blew it. I'm only 6 days into this, so I give up. Here's what happens, and this is a Gallup poll about this. 23% abandon their goals in the first 7 days after they set their goals. 92% of us, and I'm included in this, never achieve the goals. Why would that be? You know, the motivation fades as we try to tap into the discipline, but we make it so hard on ourselves. And even if you've fallen back off of the wagon, you should just jump back on. But our goals go something like this: eat healthy, lose weight, stop drinking, don't argue about politics. And this is really me. And on day 3, we're going to start over. Now I'm on to day 7. I'm going to ask for a refund for my gym membership. So I'm going to use the word goals and results interchangeably throughout this, because we don't have a goal problem. The problem is the system and our execution with it. You know, it's one thing to say we want to eat better, and this was one of my goals last year. I want to eat better. So we promised we're not going to. And it's another thing for me to drive into where my office is every day and pass this place. I don't know if you like Five Guys, but I happen to love their fries. They remind me of my mom's. Especially you throw some Cajun sauce on them. You order a small order of fries and they fill the bag up. It's amazing to me. And I make the choice once in a while. I drive past there. I'm like, you know, it won't hurt me this one time. I'll choose to do this. So I drive past Five Guys, and next thing you know, I'm feeling guilty. And all of us hate to feel bad. So what do? We give up. But it is one thing to set the goal and then just quit. And so we set our goal. Another one we say that we're going to do financially, we tell ourselves, you know what, this year I'm going to invest in the stock market, and this was me. And I've got some friends I'll tell you about here in just a minute. It's one thing to set a goal and say, okay, I'm not going to panic when the market goes down. I'm going to just be patient. I'm going to be patient. Back in 2008, 2009, some friends of mine, older friends of mine who retired, pulled their money out of the stock market when they'd lost 50% because they panicked. Now, we all know a story about this, true. But if they would have left it, if they would have just been patient, they'd have their money back plus, probably 100, 200%. But it's one thing to say, I'm not going to panic when the market goes down, and it's another thing to do it. It's entirely different to stay in when you look at it and it's gone down 5% and you're losing your money and you see how much money you've lost. And now it's reality. So it's easy to change your mind and make your decision. It's tougher. You know, we make a lot of small choices in our life, and that's what we're going to get into in just a minute. We make a lot of small choices in our life, and we say, well, this one time it's not going to hurt me. And then we make another small choice. This one time it's not going to stop me. And pretty soon we feel bad and we feel guilty and we hate to feel bad. So then we quit. Or we wake up one day and we're somebody we don't even recognize because of all these small choices that we made. As I said in the beginning, it's the little moments during this webinar that really make a difference. So here we are. We're at one of those pencil and paper moments. Hopefully, if you have one, you want to grab it. Here's what we've got. Just think for a minute about some of the goals that we all set at the beginning of every year. And if you go back to the slide of the New Year's resolution slide. There's one on there for all of us that many of us have set, and that is lose weight. We want to eat better. We want to save more money. We don't want to stay out. We want to sleep better. We set those New Year's resolutions like that. And we want to lose weight. And then 7 days into it, 23% of us quit. And 92% of us never reach that goal. Why? Well, let's take that same goal, same circumstance. I'm going to use lose weight because we all know a little bit about that. And if we were all to list out, and that's what we're going to do, list out some things we have to do to lose some weight. So we've got 20 people, same goal, same circumstances, and they all want to lose weight. So take a minute, write down on your paper what you have to do to lose weight. What are the things you need to do to lose weight? I'll start you off. We've got to exercise more. We have to eat better. We have to sleep better. We have to cut out candy. We have to no Starbucks caramel macchiatos. We have to stop a lot of things. So what do we normally do? Well, first off, a lot of people go join a gym because we have to exercise more. Personally, I've joined one gym in my life, and I just don't like working out at the gym. We have to eat better. So what do? We go to Whole Foods. We buy $100 worth of great food. And we have to exercise more. So now we got to walk. Now we got to sleep. Now we've got to stop drinking so much. And there's 4 of them. And if we take this group, same goal, same circumstances, after 7 days, according to statistics, after 7 days, 5 of them have already quit. Now, 92% never achieved their goal. Why? Because they set these big, hairy, audacious goals, and it's good. We need to set those. But then they don't break it down into what they really need to do. And as we said at the beginning of this is about small choices and giving us the least amount of effort to reach what we want to do. So why don't they reach it? Why don't they reach their goal? Why don't they stop? Why do they stop? We come up with a lot of excuses. You know, and it's me, I do this, and this is when I write down, when I drive past Five Guys, I jump in and go there. I'm like, yeah, this one time, or you know what, I'm not in that bad a shape. My heart rate's pretty good. My blood pressure's okay. You know, and then after 2 weeks, we get on the scale and we gain 10 pounds instead of lost 10 pounds. And then we say this isn't working. Everybody I talked to said it works. And my friends are saying it works. You know, it's one thing to say that we're going to get up in the morning and go exercise, but it's another thing to actually do it. And we do it for a few days and then we quit. Why? We're always blaming our circumstances. You know what? I'm tired. I can't do it this morning. I don't feel good. Everybody else has a discipline. And so then we start to feel bad about it. And we feel bad that we're the only ones. So what do? We end up quitting. There's a term for that. It's called cognitive dissonance. And we hate to feel bad, so we quit. And we justify quitting by blaming our circumstances. I'm not in too bad a shape. I'm all right. Now, I'm just talking about losing weight. But I do this with a lot of things, and you'll see that I'm going to speak about myself mostly here. So we end up giving up. Well, I'm going to tell you something. I don't believe in circumstances just happening. I think we create our own circumstances. It's not his fault. It's not her fault. It's not me. It's none of that. We create our own circumstances. So if it's just difficult to do, why do the pundits tell us it's so easy? Why do they do that? First off, they can make a lot of money doing it. And we look for excuses because we don't want to feel bad. And when we quit, we don't win. And when we think we're not winning, we look for excuses to blame somebody else. So I'm saying we make our own circumstances. So it's time for you and me and everybody to stop feeling guilty about this. So what? So you're not alone. What ends up happening is we end up feeling guilty. We look bad on ourselves and we don't like it to think that everybody else is better than us, that they're doing it. The problem is we see the world from our eyes, not the way it really is. And we think we're the only ones, that everybody else is successful, that everybody else is doing it. I get this when I go to training for my sales career, which is what I have done for a living. And they tell you to say these things. And I'm like, I can't say that. There's no way. So you end up giving up on whatever the goal is. Remember, 92% of the people you meet never achieve their goals. So if you have a sales force or you have 10 friends and you all set goals, only one of you are going to reach whatever that goal was. So we have a lot of company. We have a lot of company about this, and we feel guilty because after a few days, we get uncomfortable doing what they asked us to do or doing what we said we were going to do, so we quit. Sometimes I feel like I'm out on an island when I'm doing this, and so it makes me feel guilty. If everybody else is so successful, and we can't get away from this, we've got to, except me, I was really embarrassed to tell anybody that that's the way it was. And then one day, I talked to a friend of mine and I told him, you know what? This self-help stuff and these trainings are not helping me. They make me feel embarrassed that I didn't succeed. He told me, and this is advice I'll give you right now, stop this madness. Stop it. Stop the madness. He gave me two pieces of advice. And I found the courage, when I found the courage to talk about him, and told him about my feelings of inadequacy. Number one, he said, quit worrying about the past. If you make a mistake, move on, learn from it. It's okay because we all do it. They only celebrate Christmas for one guy. And it is not you, Bob. It is not you. I found out by talking to him about this that he felt the same way I did. And if you've got somebody close to you that you can talk to about this and not be embarrassed about it, do it. Second, he said, dream big, work hard, but start small every day. That advice changed my life. So I'm giving it to you now. Quit worrying about the past. If you didn't reach your goals, you set these big, hairy, audacious goals, and it's okay. We need to do that. And you can't get past that first week. It's okay as well. Stop beating yourself up. Stop worrying about it. You are not alone. There's a way to get past that, though, and we have to just find a way to win. It's time right now to dream big, make those big, hairy, audacious goals, work hard, but start small. And because of that, I became a student of tiny changes leading to remarkable results. A mentor of mine told me one time, Bob, little bits make a big glob. Remember that. Many of you have heard this before, but what I'm talking about is a compounding effect, and it takes over, and we find drastic changes taking place. So how do we get past this execution conundrum? Now, this is another pencil and paper moment. So before I get into this, write down what you think. How do we get past the execution conundrum? We set these big goals. You know, I want to make more money. I want to make a whatever it is. How do we get past that execution conundrum? There is one way. A good friend of mine was sitting at his kitchen table one morning all by himself. His wife was at work. He was there with his dog. He was in fairly good shape, a little bit overweight like most of us, but there were a few things wrong with him. But he was sitting there. and he felt like an elephant was on his chest. And the next thing he knew, he fell over sideways out of his chair. And as he was falling, luckily, his phone slipped off the table and landed next to him. And as he's laying there on the floor, he's thinking to himself, he's very aware, but he can't hardly breathe. And it feels like somebody's stepping on his chest. He's very aware of what's going on. And he thinks to himself, I'm having a heart attack. I'm going to die here in my house with my dog licking my face. He was thinking well enough to grab his phone, and he dialed 911. And of course, there's a good ending to this story. They had to break in. They got him to the hospital. He had surgery on his heart. And that was several years ago. And I thought about this when I saw him the other day, because he looked better than he's ever looked. And he'd been talking about things that he needed to do. He needed to exercise more, and he needed to eat better, and all the stuff that we all say to ourselves. And then we try for a week, and then we quit. And he looked better than he had ever looked. Well, I found after doing a little research into this, that if you have a heart attack and you survive, statistically, you're going to live 10 years longer than you would have if you didn't have it. Why? Because you had a wake-up call and it changed you. And so what you did was find ways to motivate yourself to change. So he stopped eating wrong, and his diabetes went away, and he didn't need his medicine anymore. And it seems like a miracle, but it wasn't, because it's going to serve my point here in just a moment. But what he found was his motivation to do this. So he took my system and developed it for himself and found a way to win. I know a guy, a good friend, who is constantly, and I keep talking about this because we all know how to do it, but it's not the only thing that I know about, but he's constantly wanting to lose weight. Finally, he's like, Bob, I can't, because he used to doing it here and there. I can't lose weight. I give up. Maybe I'm just big boned. And I told him, Jim, big boned? In my entire life, I have never seen a fat skeleton. And my point is with this is that we'll come up with whatever excuses we want to make us feel better. And that's why 92% of us don't reach our goals. So how do we get past the execution conundrum without spending big money to do it? How do we do it? Remember this, and I'll keep saying this. If you're not reaching your goals, if you're not getting the results you want, it's not your goals that's the problem, it's the system. And if you fail once, get back up. Get back up, it's okay. What we need to do is find a way every day to make it easy to win. Because the road to success and the road to failure and whatever we're doing and our goals, and I'm not talking about making millions, but the road to success and the road to failure, they're so similar sometimes we can't tell the difference. A long time ago, I went to a training seminar, and they were talking about attitude, and he gave me some advice that I'm sure you've heard. He said, it's insanity if we keep doing the same things but expect different results. That's why the road to success and the road to failure look so similar. So if we're not succeeding, then your definition of success and my definition of success are not the same. Success is a teacher who's teaching because that's what she wants to do. Success is someone who is working towards that goal of losing weight and winning every day. Success is the guy who makes a lot of money. Maybe that's not what you want. Success is raising a family. Success is whatever it is for you. So let's jump right into this. What do we do from here? How do we do this? I keep talking about it. Well, it's time. You make the decision right now to change your life. You got to do a couple of things. Stop feeling guilty. Stop feeling guilty because you're not accomplishing what you think you should have accomplished. You need to find a way to win. Quit worrying about the past because you got no hope of changing it. You can learn from it, but quit worrying about it. Set these big, hairy, audacious goals and stop wanting it to happen overnight. Not long ago, I set a goal for myself that I wanted to do 50 push-ups. Now, for some people, that's like no big deal if you come from the Marines, but for me, it was big. And I didn't take my own advice. I crunched out, got in, and I'm like, I'm going to get 50 push-ups. No, I got to 9 and I had to stop, and I ended up quitting after 4 days. There I was, the 23% statistic. After 4 days, I couldn't get more than 9. I just quit. And then I thought to myself, wait a minute, Bob, you're the motivational guru. You got to stop this. You need to break it down. Use your system to figure out how to get past that. Experts make it so easy, and we make it seem so hard. The easy sells books, and hard makes us quit. So it's time to make your decision and make your commitment to change whatever it is in your personal life, your business life. It's time to dream big and work hard and start small every day. And so that's what I did with my push-ups. I set my goal, my big, hairy, audacious goal for 2 months down there at 50. But I broke that down and said, okay, I'm going to do 5. And then I found myself I couldn't do that. And we'll get into what I did more after that. But I'm halfway through there and I'm doing 22 push-ups a day. Now, that might not sound like much, but to me, that's a huge win. I got some guns here now. So start small every day, because what you're looking for is a win, because your mind doesn't care. It doesn't care if it's a big win or a little win. If you keep winning, it'll keep directing you subconsciously to do what you did so that you can keep winning. So here we are. Let's start on that path to dream big and work hard. This is another pen and paper moment. So please bring it out. And if you don't do this, you've just wasted 45 minutes of your time with me. But take the time to do this. And if you can't do it completely, just start with 1. It's okay. But I want you to list, no matter how insignificant you think it is, several things you want to accomplish in the next year. And for me, here's some of the things that I want to accomplish. And some of them are just frivolous. But I want to start with, I want to add 2 businesses to my repertoire. My main business besides this is training managers and leaders how to become leaders. I've got an academy called 10 Disciplines of Leadership. And what I want to do is add 2 businesses to my repertoire every month for the next 12 months. I want to travel more. I want to go 1 week a month. Now, that's kind of out there, but that's what I want to do. I want to golf more. I want to golf twice a week. I would like to buy a really nice telescope. I want to accomplish that in the next year. I want to do some things with my wife. So just make a list, please. Please, just make a list of everything you want to accomplish in the next year. It doesn't matter how insignificant you have. So make that list, because it's time for you to dream big, work hard. We're going to make it happen. We're going to make it happen. So take a minute to do that. Hopefully you've been doing it while I've been talking. So I'll wait just a minute. But what we're going to do out of this list is pick one. Pick one of those things that you want to work on now. Now, you can take this and pick more of those at a later time, or on a phone call with me. I can help you do that one-to-one. But right now, we're just going to pick one that you want to work on now. I don't care which one it is. I don't care. But it's got to be the one you're committed to work on now. It can be a big, hairy, audacious goal like mine, 2 businesses a month over the next 12 months, or it can be a small goal. Maybe over the next 30 days, you want to eat better, whatever it is. Pick that one. It's a big, hairy, audacious goal for me, because I'm going to have to add a couple of employees if I do that. So take out your pencil and circle the one that you want to work on now, that you're committed to work on now? If you'd like to, put it in the comments and tell me what it is. I'd love to see. No one else will see it. If you don't want to, that's okay too. But what is the one thing you picked that you want to work on right now? Starting now. Again, circle it. Okay, let's move on to the next. To the next exercise in this deal. And you've probably heard this before, but this is something I say all the time in my meetings with salespeople as we're setting goals and trying to help them reach whatever the business goal is they're trying to get to. If you find your reasons, your answers will come. And like I said, this is a pen and paper moment still, so take the time to do this. And what I'm going to ask you to do is open your mind, because it's amazing what you can accomplish if you do. So write on the paper every reason you can think of that you want to accomplish this. Every one. I'm going to say that again. Write on the paper every reason you can think of that you want to accomplish this. I'll give you mine. Okay, I wrote down that I want to, this big, hairy, audacious goal, I want to add 2 businesses to my repertoire, if I can use that word, but I want to add 2 businesses a month. Why? Why do I want to accomplish this? Well, of course, I want to make more money because money equates to freedom. So I really want more freedom. I want to travel more. I like helping people take a step up. And when they become successful or they're on that path to success, I find such enjoyment out of that. Such enjoyment. And I love going back later and having somebody tell me, Bob, you changed my life. I was teaching a solar company down in Arizona a year and a half ago, this very system. And unfortunately, I had to go back there for a funeral, and a couple of the guys that were there walked up to me and they said, Bob, I've been using your system and you changed my life. And one of them was like an entry-level employee just knocking on the door. And now he was their #1 salesman. He was making a lot of money. So write down every reason. And you got to have more than 2. You need to get to 15 or 20. Nothing is insignificant. Nothing. Nothing is insignificant. Maybe it is because you want to sleep better at night. Some people, that's a reason they want to accomplish this goal. I want to be able to wake up in the morning not stressed about where I'm going to get some milk. I want to wake up in the morning not stressed that they might take my car away. I want to wake up in the morning. I want to go to bed. I want to be able to have some freedom. One of my favorite reasons is I want to stop the guilt. I've got these reasons I want to accomplish this. I want to stop the guilt. So we start really big, and we're going to go into this again. We start big, we go small, we go small, we go small. Pretty soon, we're so small, I want to be able to take my wife out to dinner whenever I want. I'd like to have more time to read. I love to read. Now you have your reasons. However insignificant they seem, now you have your reasons, your answers will come. Now, am I saying this is all it's going to take? No. No, it still takes a lot of work and commitment. What we're going to get into now is what I like to call mindstorming. And I'm not sure if you've ever heard of this, but it is a fantastic way to get down to the easy things to make it win. So take your paper out. Take your paper out. And the idea of this is to make it as easy as possible to reach your goal in the long run. This is the hardest part of the webinar. So write your result, your goal in the form of a question. For me, it is, how do I accomplish adding 2 dealers 2 businesses to my repertoire per month. How do I do that? So at the top right, Mindstorming, and underneath that, you're going to pick the one thing you picked out earlier that you said you're committed to, and write it at the top of the page in the form of the question. Whatever you decided your goal is going to be, I'm going to say it again. Write it in the form of a question. So I'm going to use this one as an example. How do I lose 20 pounds by April 30th? I did this last year, and it worked for me. Now, I'm not bragging about myself because I'm not, by no means. There are a lot of people that get to what they're doing a lot easier than I do. So how do I lose pounds, 20 pounds? Maybe it's, how do I get a better relationship with my wife? How do I make $100,000? Whatever the result is you want, write it out. Okay, now we're going to take the paper and we're going to list, and I've stopped at 13, but we're going to list 20 answers to that question. 20. So at first it's going to be easy. So start big. Start big. So how do you start big? Well, I need to eat better every day. That's a big one. I need to walk 2 miles every morning except Sundays, and keep going on. And pretty soon, this is going to be tough, and you might not be able to finish it here. But you have to get to 20. And Mindstorming really is an exercise you do for yourself. Like brainstorming, you just do it for yourself. And you break this down. Okay, here's the 20 things that I have to do so that I can lose 20 pounds by April 30th. Well, at first it's going to be easy. So you start where it's easy. Then think about this and take time to do it. And when we're done with this webinar here in 10 or 15 minutes, you need to take the time to finish it up to number 20. Okay, so I'm going to need to exercise more. So I can put that in. I need to eat better every day. By the time you get down to the bottom, your answers are going to seem almost ridiculous. So you do those and keep going and keep going and keep going. And you get down to the bottom, they're going to be, what? I want to lose 20 pounds. I've got to eat an apple a day, because what if eating an apple a day keeps the doctor away is true? What if it's true? That's where we came up with the name for this webinar, Eat an Apple. You know, I'm setting this up that I want to walk 2 miles every morning except Sundays. And, you know, perhaps I will, or perhaps I won't, and pretty soon I'll just miss a day. Keep at this until your answers almost seem ridiculous. So we write our result in the form of a question. Now go back to those things that you wrote and pick one of them that you need to do. I need to eat better. So now let's mindstorm that. What can I do to make eating better every day easier? What can I do? Eating better is tough, and that's a generic thing. So what can I do? Well, now we're going to list out 20 things again, and perhaps you won't get to 20, but start big. So I got to eat more fruit. I'm going to eat an apple a day. Okay, so might as well start where it's easy, right? And I go back to this. I go back to that last slide, and you got to write down the 20 things. So let's start where it's easy, and then I'm going to pick one, maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe 4 of those things, and I'm going to work on it. So I picked that I've got to eat an apple a day. I want to eat more fruit. So I want to eat an apple, an orange, and a banana every day. Well, the banana was easy. So I like bananas. I do that every day. The orange and the apple, not so much. What I end up doing, I grab an apple and an orange, and you think, okay, that's easy enough to do. That's all I'm going to do, because if I eat an apple and an orange today, I've eaten better than I did the day before. So now I'm on the path and I'm winning. Right. True. That is true. But I hadn't found my hack yet, because I'd take that apple and orange to work. I'd take it to work, and then I'd bring it home from work. Then I'd take it to work. Then I'd bring it home from work. Well, I found myself that when I spent a little bit more money on apples that are already sliced and took those to work, I ate them. So now I found my hack. So I started big. I'm going to eat more fruit. Then I went a little smaller and a little smaller. And I got down to, I've got to eat an apple, but I wasn't even doing that. So now I broke it down that if I slice it up and put it in a bag and set it on my desk, during the day, I eat an apple, an orange, and a banana every day. And I made it easy to win. Made it easy to win. I just read a book not long ago called Atomic Habits by James Clear. And if you're a reader, you should read it or listen to it. It's excellent. It's about small habits and how they change your life. And what we're talking about are the small things you just picked. Eating an apple is my small pick, and it really is a hack. So what is your one small step that you've got to take to reach whatever it is that you picked? You got to keep at this until your reasons seem ridiculous. And once you do that, you have to find a way to make it easy to do. And I wanted to walk 2 miles every day. And at first I did, and then I lost my motivation. It was cold, it was dark, I was sick, a lot of things. And so I quit. And it didn't work. So I went and broke it down. I said, okay, I want to walk 2 miles every morning. What do I have to do? So I started breaking it down, and I used the law of least effort to get it there. So what do I mean by that? I mean, you have to take the least amount of effort to do what you want. And James Clear said, if you want to do that, put your workout clothes out at night before you go out. Well, I did that, and that didn't work. So then I thought, wait a minute, you are one creature of habit, Bob. You wake up in the mornings, you have your coffee, you read the paper, you look at your emails, you search the internet a little bit, spend about a half hour, 45 minutes, and then you go walk. What are you going to do? How are you going to make it easy? So now I found my hack. And what I do, because I wanted the law of least effort to make it so I would go walk. I got dressed to walk as soon as I got up. And when I'm done reading the paper and drinking my coffee, all I have to do is go out the door and I'm ready. That was my hack. And it made it easy. Now, did I walk 2 miles to start? No. But I found my hack to get out. And if I only walked a block, have I walked further and am I in better shape than I was before I walked the block? Yes. So I kept finding ways to win. And now I go out 2 miles every day. I listen to books, and it's a wonderful thing. So you need to do the same thing. We need to take our goal, our result, we break it down, we go 20 things, we pick one, we go 20 things, we pick one, we go 20 ways that we can do that. And what we need to do is find a way to win every day on that particular goal. You got to reduce the number of steps between you and what you want to do. You got to find your hack. You got to make your choices to accomplish your habit, your goal, your result, your objective, whatever you want to call it, small and easy. If you want to create long-term change, you got to start small and simple. And we change best by feeling good, not feeling bad. So if we find ways to win every day, however small they are. Now, it may seem funny, but if I eat an apple a day, am I eating better than I did yesterday? Absolutely I am, and that's a win. And my mind doesn't care. It doesn't care I won. Motivation and willpower aren't enough to create that lasting change. Feeling successful helps you wire in new habits and motivates you to do more. So you need to find your hack. You need to eat an apple a day. Take the time to do that. And I would ask, if you're going to do this, don't stop. Stay in motion. If you make a mistake, don't quit. Way too often, we just stop because we don't like feeling bad. But find a way to win. Make it a win. At least you're doing something. That's more than most people. 92% of the people don't reach their goals. And way too often we just stop. We stop trying, we stop caring, we stop moving, we just give up. And by doing that, all we're doing is sending our mind and body a message that we've given up. So keep at it. Find the small things to do, the small choices every day to stay in motion, one small, insignificant action at a time. We got to break it down to the smallest thing. Whatever it is you want to accomplish, you want to lose weight, you want to eat better, you want to make more money, you want to go to Costa Rica, whatever it is, you need to find a way to win every day, no matter how small it is. And Mindstorming is the way. And it takes 3 steps to get to that point. And if you spend a half an hour doing this, is it worth it? Absolutely, it will change your life. And before you know it, you're on the way to accomplishing whatever it was because you're winning, winning, winning. So I call it finding your hack, find a way to win, and eat that apple. It's the law of least effort. It's our purpose to reduce the number of steps between you and the result you want. So as you embark on 2021, when the motivation fades, tap into the discipline to keep going those small choices. Remember, it's the little moments that create big outcomes. I appreciate you taking the time. Hopefully you found this entertaining and some information. As I said, my name is Bob Morgan. This is about finding your hack. If you'd like, I'll send you an email with links to download a workbook I've created for this. Follow us on YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, whatever it is. We put motivational videos up every day. Because you listen to this, I'll give you a one-to-one personal call to me if you'd like to help you find your hack, and one to give away to a friend. I do this meeting once a month on Thursdays at 11 and 7 on the first Thursday of every month. And my business is really referral based, so please tell your friends. And if you liked what you've seen, let me know about it, and give me a review somewhere. Again, my name is Bob Morgan. I'm with Disruptive Leadership. We offer quite a few programs, but I'm a life coach. I train leaders. My email address is easy, bob@bobcmorgan.com. I've got a blog if you'd like to follow. There's my phone number. Please, I'll email it to you if you'd like. But thanks for taking the time. I really appreciate it. Hopefully you found it entertaining and information that you can find. Remember, small choices make huge results. So break it down. Mindstorm once, 2, 3 times. Now you're down to eat an apple, find the least road of least resistance with the least amount of effort to win towards your goal, and you will win. It's crazy how well you will. It's amazing to me. Anyway, remember this, you're always in the right place at the right time if you find the right attitude.